You are watching Center for Hope's new intake orientation video. Welcome. My name is George W. Williams, Jr. I am the Senior Case Manager and Intake Coordinator here at Center for Hope Carlisle. We are a temporary facility that houses 149 men of all backgrounds, ages of 18, genders, religions, and sexual orientations. We are now going to focus on 6 key policies here at our agency. Those are facility protocols, the enrollment process, rules and regulations, meals and food, COVID policies, and case management. Policy number 1, facility protocols. All new intakes must receive a negative COVID screening or test from Roosevelt Darby Intake Center at 804 North Broad Street prior to entering our facility. Here at Center for Hope, we only allow 2 bags worth of clothing maximum. All other garments and clothing need to be stored off-site. Once you arrive, your belongings will be placed in a hot box. You will be able to retrieve them after 1 hour. If you are discharged from our facility, we are only able to hold your belongings for 48 hours. After such, they will be discarded. Once you complete this orientation video, you will go through a registration process. You will also be assigned to a bed and a room. Please make sure you do not move from that room or bed unless you have proper authorization from a case manager. Here at Center for Hope, you are allowed to receive mail. All you will need to do is go to the post office and change your address. All mail must be retrieved from the case managers. After you're discharged, though, we only hold your mail for 30 days. Shower times are available from 6 to 9 in the morning and 6 to 9 at night. Please adhere to these shower times. We have now completed the facility protocols. Let's dive into policy number 2, enrollment process. You have arrived during our daytime registration. After you have completed this orientation video, you will need to meet with a member of case management and complete paper registration, computer enrollment. You'll be given a tour of your floor, and then you'll be escorted back to your room. There are some of you that have arrived after hours. If that's the case, after this orientation video, you will need to go directly to 804 North Broad Street, which is the Roosevelt Darby Intake Center, complete an intake referral, and then return immediately back to our facility to complete paper registration, computer enrollment. You'll be given a tour of your floor, and then you'll be escorted to your room. During your registration, you will be asked for vital documents. Some examples of those documents would be an ID, a birth certificate, Social Security card, and medical insurance card. A member of case management will make copies of these documents. We have now completed the enrollment process. Let's now talk about policy number 3, rules and regulations. Here at Center for Hope, we have a curfew. Our curfew is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please adhere to this curfew. AWOLs. What are AWOLs? AWOLs means absent without leave. If you are not present during attendance, count, or you are absent from the facility, that will be considered an AWOL. If you have 3 consecutive AWOLs or 5 non-consecutive AWOLs, you will be issued a discharge. You will have to return back to Roosevelt Darby Intake Center to complete another referral to return back to our facility. Health and safety discharges are more severe. In a health and safety discharge, there's a possibility that you can be banned from shelters for quite some time. Some examples of health and safeties are physical violence between staff or peers, terroristic threats, between staff or peers, possessions of weapons, destruction of property, possession, sale, use, or distribution of drugs and alcohol, refusing to be searched downstairs, illegal activities, or smoking in the building. If you receive a health and safety discharge, you may appeal that decision by meeting with a member of case management, or you can return back to Roosevelt Darby Intake Center at 804 North Broad Street and file your appeal there. Contraband. What is contraband? Contraband can be drugs, can be weapons, or it could be paraphernalia of drugs. Please make sure that you have none of these type of things on your person or in your belongings. If these things are found, it will result in an immediate discharge. What is noncompliance? Examples of noncompliance is not attending case management meetings, not attending community meetings, not submitting documentations that are requested of you, not providing work verification. Persistent noncompliance will lead to discharge. Health and safety violations will lead to immediate discharge. You have now completed rules and regulations. Let's talk about policy number 4, meals and food. Here at Center for Hope, we have specific meal times. Those times are 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for breakfast, 12 to 1 for lunch, and 4 to 5 for dinner. Please adhere to these times and please make sure that you are on time for all meals. In addition, you are not allowed to bring outside food into the building. You are also not allowed to bring food outside of the cafeteria. There are times where you will need medically approved food. If this is the case, you will need to meet with a case manager and provide medical documentation from a medical provider. Vending machines. Vending machines are available on each floor. However, you must use the vending machines at your own risk. We do not reimburse for lost expenses. We have now concluded with meals and food. We can now focus on point number 5, COVID policies. As mentioned earlier in this video, you are required to submit a negative COVID screening prior to entry into the building. If at some point you have developed symptoms of COVID, we would ask that you complete another COVID test or screening prior to returning back to the facility. Masks. Masks are important. You need to wear your masks over your nose anytime you have exited your room. Masks are to be worn in all public areas. If there is a case where you have contracted the COVID virus, we will need to remove you from your room and place you in an isolation room. At such time, we will then refer you to OHS's CRIS site, which is a quarantine site away from this building. You will stay there for approximately 5 days, and once you test negative twice, you will be able to return back to the facility and also back to your room. There are also times where your room may have to go under quarantine. If someone contracts the virus in your room, we will place your room under quarantine. This means that you will have to stay in your room, you will be allowed to use the bathroom, you will have meals brought to you, and this will last for 5 days. There may come a time while you're under quarantine in your room that 2 more people could contract the virus while you're waiting during that 5 days. If that's the case, where 2 more people contract the virus within those 5 days, we will go to a full shelter quarantine. That quarantine will last for additional 5 days. If you have received your COVID vaccination, it is important that you report that to a member of case management so that we can update your file. We also work with the Office of Homeless Services and the Department of Public Health to provide on-site vaccinations. Once you get notification that an on-site vaccination clinic will be arriving to our facility, please take advantage of it. We have now completed our COVID policies. Lastly, we can focus now on policy number 6, case management. Once you have completed the orientation video and have been fully registered, you will be assigned a case manager to your case. A case manager will place a letter on your bed, and you will have 7 days to meet with that case manager and schedule your bi-weekly appointments. This is mandatory. Once you have completed your orientation and your registration and have been assigned to a case manager, you will then need to meet with that case manager bi-weekly. This is also mandatory. Once you have met with your case manager, we will complete a biopsychosocial assessment. This assessment will focus on your background, your medical history, your income, and your criminal history, if that applies. You will also complete a service plan and a housing assessment. Also, you must attend community meetings. Community meetings are held by the case managers in the Brotherly Love Cafe on the 2nd floor. After this orientation video, you will be given documentation of the times and dates of these meetings. You have completed this orientation video. We are excited to see you grow from here.